Talking the best sports games of all time can be a little tricky. Similar to racing games, you have two types, simulator and arcade. Now, it's not like you're either into one or the other. In fact, there's plenty of fans who enjoy both, such as Madden and Blitz, The Show and the Bigs, or even PGA Tour and Mario Golf. But when trying to decide the best sports games ever made, we tend to lean towards our preferred style of gameplay. However, if there is one sports game that most, if not all fans agree is one of the greatest of all time, that would be NBA Jam. An absolute arcade classic that even non-gamers and non-sports fans can pick up and have fun with within minutes. So when the good people over at Vinci Games reached out to me and asked if I would like to play and make a video about their upcoming VR basketball game, BlackTop Hoops, touting it as NBA Jam meets NBA 2K, I was all in. When you first boot up the game, the player is dropped off into a tutorial where they walk you through the basics and controls. And trust me, you're not going to want to skip this. There are certain things you may expect, like how to dribble or holding the trigger to grab the ball and releasing it at the top of your shot to actually shoot. But others may be new to the player, such as holding the grip buttons to sprint or clicking the sticks to jump. The rest is pretty self-explanatory. I mean, it's basketball, just in VR. After this, you're sent to the main menu where you'll see things you would expect. We can choose play to pick from several options, including competitive, casual, offline versus bots, private matches, and training, which has a few options in itself, such as free play, to hone your skills on the court. In the options, we can adjust the controls, just in case you don't like the default layout. Now, personally, I didn't change any of this, but the option's there if you need it. We can also change the general graphics level, and we even have locomotion options, which I cannot stress enough how important this is in VR games. I prefer smooth turn, but for those prone to motion sickness, you do have the option for snap turn. I will warn you though, the default sensitivity for smooth turn is way too slow. I actually had to crank it up to about 150 just to make it fast enough. And as a quick throwback to the NBA Jam fans, we actually have a couple modifiers here, such as big head mode and large opponents. Going back to the main menu, we can also view the leaderboards, and that's cool and all, but something I really want to go over here is the options drip and store. If I'm being honest, I believe this is what the developers are referring to when they say NBA Jam meets NBA 2K, because the rest of the game feels more like Jam than anything 2K. So the store offers you a wide variety of customization options for your avatar. We've got tops, shorts, hats, shoes, and even extras like different basketballs, courts, dunk effects, and emotes. It's important to keep in mind everything in the store is strictly cosmetic. Nothing here gives you an advantage during gameplay. You can unlock much of the gear by completing different challenges in-game, and others are bought with coins, or credits, BlackTop Hoops in-game currency, which can be purchased with real money, but also earned by other means, like logging in daily and completing various challenges in the game. Now I know, some of you are probably rolling your eyes right now at the idea of items being locked behind in-game purchases. And I get it, I really do. But the good news is you don't need any of this. You can jump in and play BlackTop Hoops without ever touching the store. To equip gear from the store, you head over to Drip and customize your avatar there. Now, there was an odd bug I kept running into where every time I would shut the game off, upon re-entering, I would have to customize my character because it would revert to the default outfit again. Now, honestly, I'm not sure if this is a bug or just the way the game is, but maybe a little tedious for some players, but I mean, ultimately not a big deal to me. Just something I want you to be aware of. Alright, that's enough about the menu and options. Let's get into the most important part of any game, the gameplay itself. NBA Jam in VR sounds compelling, but does it actually work? Well, mostly. I say mostly because with NBA Jam, as mentioned earlier, even non-gamers or casual gamers can just pick up the game and have the controls down in a matter of minutes. BlackTop Hoops isn't going to be as quick and easy for most players. It's not because it's broken or anything, the controls are just going to feel a little bit foreign at first with things like grip buttons to sprint and clicking sticks to jump, and trying to get these controls down on the fly while dribbling, shooting, and playing defense. I don't fault the devs for this though, this is just kind of the nature of VR and its current controllers. In fact, I would say they did a great job at implementing all the controls necessary for basketball. it's just going to take some time and practice that NBA Jam doesn't require, allowing it to appeal to people beyond gamers and sports fans. And this may be besides the point, but BlackTop Hoops actually reminds me way more of the NBA Street games than NBA Jam. Maybe it's the street-style courts and environments. I don't know, you guys let me know down in the comments if you agree. Going back to the controls though, this learning curve is also why I think it's important to head into free play and get the hang of things before jumping into a match. For your average VR player, the controls aren't that hard to get used to. After 1 or 2 days of playing, it becomes second nature. But there is one thing that haunted me the first 2 or 3 days of playing, and that is the shooting. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's a skill issue. Maybe I just need to get good. But my first few days, I was throwing doinks and building houses. I couldn't make any baskets. And that felt like such a shame because I thought this game had so much potential. Everything else was a blast. Dribbling and crossing up an opponent, then going up for a satisfying windmill dunk. I just couldn't shoot consistently. It would either fly way over the backboard and possibly hit a civilian in the head, or it would just fall a foot short in front of me. That was until I figured something out. When learning to shoot on here, it tells you to treat it like you would shooting basketballs at the arcade, and give it a flick as you release the trigger. However, instead of giving it a flick and releasing at the top of your shot, like you would with a real basketball, instead, hold the trigger for longer than you'd think you should be holding onto the ball, then release. So essentially just releasing the ball later than you may expect to. Figuring out to release the trigger later in my shot was game-changing. Suddenly, BlackTop Hoops for me became the VR basketball game I hoped it would be, and the VR basketball game I felt the market needed desperately. After learning this, it became fun. It felt natural to cross up an opponent and take a step back and drain threes. It may have taken about 3 or 4 days, but once I became comfortable with these controls, I was having an absolute blast. I found myself playing it well after I'd already got all my footage, and I just didn't want to put the game down. For me, I just wanted a game that played like NBA Jam, Street, or even the Playground series, but in VR. And in my opinion, none have come close so far, more so than BlackTop Hoops. Now, I was just looking for something fun and arcadey like the games I just mentioned, but I can definitely see this game getting sweaty for the competitive crowd out there. Full disclosure, all the gameplay in this video is being played offline against bots on the standard difficulty Hooper, but there are 2 more higher difficulty levels with Legend and Goat. Oh, and speaking of Goat, you actually have a meter in this game called the Goat Gauge. And it can be filled by doing special dribbles like crosses between the legs, as well as standard things like blocking, getting a rebound, and landing consecutive shots. Once full, you can activate it by pressing both the grip buttons, and whenever you shoot the ball, it's a guaranteed basket. Now, this is very reminiscent of the game breaker mechanics from the NBA Street series. Now, as I said, I was just looking for something fun and easy to pick up and play, but this game does offer 3 shooting modes. Casual, which offers a small shot assist, but can still miss, so don't think you're just going to get guaranteed goals. Pro, which offers less of a shot assist, and then there's Manual, for the hardcore fans out there who want no shot assist. Now, many of you have probably already noticed, but all of the games shown in this video were 1v1 half-court matches. That is currently all that's offered right now as of the time of recording. However, the devs did say 2v2 offline was on the way, as well as a full campaign mode. As for online, there's 1v1, 2v2, 3v3, and 4v4, with 1v1 and 2v2 being half court, 3v3 and 4v4 being full court. And I know just how important of a feature this is for any online game, that is being able to party up with friends, and yes, I'm glad to confirm that is available here in BlackTop Hoops. So what are my final thoughts, and should you pick up BlackTop Hoops? Available today on Steam and the Quest Store. Well, I say if you don't mind spending a little time in practice to really hone your skills, then absolutely. If you're like myself and you've been waiting on that classic arcade basketball action in VR, there's a lot of fun to be had here. And for only $30, I find the price of entry to be very reasonable, especially considering Vinci Games has already stated more content such as gear, modes, and a campaign are on the way. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, make sure to drop a like and subscribe for future content. And maybe consider checking out one of these other videos on screen here. Until next time, Indominus out.